All right, so get ready, folks, because today we're diving deep into prepping for a botanical specialist interview.
That's right.
I bet a lot of you are thinking, botanical specialist, what even is that?
Yeah, great question.
Well, it's like a super cool blend of science and artistry. Imagine using your knowledge of plants to create some amazing alcoholic beverages.
Pretty cool.
And guess what?
What's that?
The job market for botanical specialists is booming. We've got some awesome resources from RoleCatcher to help us out today, like their career guide, their interview guide, and even info on their AI platform.
Lots to unpack today.
Definitely. Ready to jump into some sample interview questions?
Let's do it.
All right, first up, describe your experience with plant identification and taxonomy. Seems pretty straightforward.
It does, but the interviewer is trying to figure out if you've got real-world experience with plants, not just textbook knowledge. They're looking for those hands-on skills.
So how would you recommend someone showcase that hands-on experience?
Well, think about specific projects or experiences where you had to identify plants, like volunteering at a botanical garden, fieldwork during your studies, anything that shows you really know your stuff.
So instead of just defining taxonomy, I should talk about a specific project where I use those skills.
Exactly. Let's say you were a junior botanical specialist. You could say something like, during my botany studies, I worked on a project identifying medicinal plants. We used botanical keys and morphological characteristics to classify them, and I even presented our findings at a symposium.
Ooh, that's a great example. It makes those skills come to life.
Right?
What kind of follow-up questions could come from that?
They might ask you about a specific plant that's relevant to their products, just to test your knowledge a little further. Or maybe they ask about a time you misidentified a plant and what you learned from it.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, interviewers love to see how you handle mistakes.
Makes sense. All right, moving on to how do you stay current with new developments in the field of botanicals? I feel like things change so fast these days. I bet this is a big one for them.
Absolutely. They want to know that you're proactive and passionate about staying on top of things.
So, like, just saying, I like to read isn't going to cut it.
No, not really. You got to think about specific resources you use, like journals, industry publications, conferences, online communities, and how those benefit you.
Like specific names?
Yeah. For example, a junior botanical specialist could mention reading Beverage Industry magazine to stay updated on new ingredients and flavor trends.
Oh, I see. It's about showing that you're actively engaged with the latest and greatest information.
Exactly. And don't forget about following experts on social media, attending workshops, all that good stuff.
Yeah, there's so much out there.
And a good follow-up question from the interviewer could be about a specific trend you're excited about and how you see it influencing your work.
Ooh, good one. Okay, let's tackle this next question. How do you ensure quality control in botanical products? This has got to be super important, especially in the beverage industry.
Definitely, you got it. Think safety, consistency, meeting those industry standards. The interviewer wants to see that you're on top of it.
So what kind of things should someone highlight in their answer?
Talk about standard operating procedures like SOPs, testing protocols, documentation, anything that shows you really understand the nuts and bolts of quality control.
It's a lot of details.
Yeah, and it's always a good idea to mention relevant regulations like the ones from the FDA.
Right. It's not enough to just say you follow the rules.
Yeah.
You have to show them how you do it.
Exactly. Imagine you're a junior botanical specialist, you could say. In my previous lab assistant role, I did quality control checks on botanical samples. This involved visual inspections, sensory analysis, and meticulous documentation.
That's a great example. It really shows practical experience, even at an early career level.
Right.
Okay, what would be a potential follow-up?
Well, they might ask about a specific quality control challenge you faced and how you solved it. This is your chance to shine as a problem solver.
I like it. This next question seems like it's all about problem solving too. Can you describe a time when you had to troubleshoot a problem with a botanical product?
It is. They want to see you in action, like how you think critically, stay calm under pressure, and find solutions.
Pressure.
Right. So how do you think someone should structure their answer to this kind of question?
Well, I know you love the STAR method. So maybe
Hmm.
describe the situation, the task, the action you took, and then the result. It keeps things clear and concise.
Love it.
Okay, so let's say I was working on a gin and we had a weird off note in the aroma. So I can say, I reviewed the batch records and suspected a variation in the juniper berries. Then I did some sensory analysis and confirmed it was a new supplier using a different variety. So working with the procurement team, we sourced the original berries and the gin was back on track.
That's a perfect example. It shows you can identify the problem, analyze it, and then find a solution.
Teamwork.
Yes.
What about follow-up questions for that one? What could they ask to dig a little deeper?
They might ask about a time you couldn't solve a problem and what you learned from it. Or how you prioritize tasks when multiple issues pop up at once.
Well, that's a good one.
Yeah, they want to see how you handle those curveballs.
Okay, next up is, how do you ensure sustainable sourcing of botanical materials? Sustainability is a big deal these days, right? Especially in the beverage industry.
Huge. And the interviewer wants to know that you're not just knowledgeable about plants, but also committed to ethical and environmentally responsible practices.
It sounds like it's not enough to just say, I care about sustainability.
Nope, you gotta back it up with concrete examples.
Like what?
Well, have you worked with certified suppliers? Participated in initiatives to reduce your environmental footprint? Maybe a junior botanicals specialist could talk about researching and vetting organic lavender suppliers during an internship and focusing on their sustainability practices.
That's a good one. It shows you're thinking about those things even early in your career.
Right. And a possible follow-up could be about a sustainability challenge you faced, maybe like a conflict between sourcing and budget and how you navigated it.
Oh, interesting. Okay, this next question seems fun. Can you describe a time when you had to develop a new botanical product from scratch?
Ooh, yeah, this is where your passion for botanicals gets to shine.
Right.
They're looking for creativity, problem solving, and the ability to manage a project from start to finish.
So I should talk about a time when I came up with a new drink.
Yes, use the STAR method again. Describe the situation, maybe there was a gap in the market or something. Then what was your task, the actions you took to develop the product, and the final result?
Okay, let's say I was working at a distillery and we wanted a new sugar-free gin. I'd say I researched traditional botanicals and alternative sweeteners, experimented with various combinations, and landed on a blend of juniper, coriander, and angelica root with a touch of stevia. The new gin launched to great reviews and became a top seller.
Ooh, now you're talking. That's a great example. You're showcasing your research, creativity, and understanding of the market.
What kind of follow-up questions could they ask about product development?
They might ask about a time an idea didn't pan out and what you learned. Or they could ask how you balance creativity with budget limitations and regulation.
Ooh, those are tough ones.
Yeah.
Okay, next question. How do you ensure the safety of botanical products? I imagine this is a big one, given that people are actually consuming these products.
Huge. They want to be sure you understand the potential risks and how to mitigate them.
Safety first.
For sure. Think about things like good manufacturing practices or GMP, allergen control, testing procedures, anything that demonstrates your commitment to safety.
So instead of just saying, I follow the rules, I should give specific examples.
Yes. Talk about a time you implemented a new safety protocol or conducted a risk assessment. If you were a junior botanical specialist, you could mention learning about GMP and sanitation procedures during an internship at a herbal supplement company.
Good one, yeah. It shows you're aware of those important procedures even early on.
Right. And a possible follow-up could be about a specific safety challenge you encountered and how you addressed it, or your knowledge of relevant regulations for their products.
This next question seems related. How do you ensure the efficacy of botanical products? So not just that they're safe, but that they actually work as intended.
Exactly. They're looking for scientific rigor here, like your understanding of research methods, clinical trials, data analysis, and how to evaluate scientific literature.
So it's not enough to just believe in the power of plants. You need to be able to back it up with evidence.
Precisely. If you've conducted or reviewed clinical trials, mention that. If you're familiar with substantiating claims with data, highlight that. Even a junior botanical specialist could talk about a research project where they use scientific methods to test the antimicrobial properties of certain herbs.
Oh, that's a great example. It shows you're thinking critically about those claims.
Absolutely. Now, a follow-up question could be about a specific study that influenced your approach or your experience with different types of clinical trials.
Oh, interesting. Okay, last question for this section. Can you describe a time when you had to work with cross-functional teams to develop a botanical product? Sounds like they're looking for a team player here.
Teamwork is crucial in this field. They want to know you can collaborate with people from different departments, communicate effectively, and contribute to a shared goal.
So how can I showcase my teamwork skills in my answer?
Think back to a project where you worked with people from marketing, production, or quality control. Use the STAR method to describe the situation, your task, your actions, and the result.
Got it. Okay, let's say I was working on a new kombucha launch, I could say. I collaborated with marketing on the brand narrative, provided details on the botanicals and brewing process, and worked with production to ensure accurate packaging. Through strong communication, we had a successful launch with positive feedback.
Boom! That's a great example. You're highlighting your contributions and the importance of collaboration.
What kind of follow-up questions could they ask about teamwork?
Well, they might ask about a time you faced a conflict within a team and how you resolved it. Or they could inquire about your communication style and your approach to working with people from different backgrounds.
That makes sense. They want to see how you handle those interpersonal dynamics.
Exactly.
So we've covered a lot of ground with these interview questions.
We have.
But before we move on, let's talk about how RoleCatcher's AI can help people prepare for these interviews.
Great idea.
What do you think?
Well, RoleCatcher is all about personalization. Their AI tools go beyond generic advice, giving you insights tailored to the specific job you're after.
Yeah, I was super impressed with their AI CV resume builder. It analyzes the job description and helps you spot any skills gaps you might need to address.
It's like having a personal career coach, like fine-tuning your resume for both human eyes and those applicant tracking systems.
Ooh, tell me about those.
Right. And for those of us who get interview jitters, their AI-powered interview practice tool is like a lifesaver. It gives you personalized feedback on your responses, analyzes your body language, and even picks up on those pesky filler words we all use.
Uh-oh.
I know, right?
It's like having a secret weapon for interview prep.
Absolutely.
Okay, so we've tackled some tough questions and even learned about how AI can give us an edge. But our deep dive isn't over yet.
Not even close. In part 2, we'll be back to explore those interview questions even further, offering tailored responses for different career stages. So stay tuned. Welcome back. We're going to be diving even deeper into those interview questions, exploring how your answers might change depending on where you are in your career.
Oh, this is going to be good.
And remember those insights from RoleCatcher's Career Guide?
Yeah.
We're going to be sprinkling those in too.
Awesome.
So let's revisit that first question. Describe your experience with plant identification and taxonomy. For an assistant botanical specialist, it's all about showcasing your foundational knowledge and that eagerness to learn.
Got it.
Imagine they say something like, during my botany degree, I worked in the university's herbarium, helping to identify and classify plant specimens. I learned to use botanical keys and differentiate species based on morphology.
That's a good one.
Eh.
It highlights hands-on experience even without extensive professional history.
Exactly.
Speaking of experience, RoleCatcher's Guide mentions that junior botanical specialists often assist with inventory management, which probably involves a good bit of plant identification, right?
Absolutely. That's a great point. Now, let's say you're a seasoned botanical specialist with years of experience under your belt.
Okay, yeah.
What do you think their answer might sound like?
Maybe something like, throughout my career, I've sourced and identified a wide range of botanicals for our distillery. I've developed a keen eye for recognizing key characteristics, and I can confidently differentiate even closely related species.
That experience really shines through.
It does.
All right, let's move on to the next one. How do you stay current with new developments in the field of botanicals?
Okay.
Now, I'm guessing the resources you mentioned might change with experience.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So, an assistant botanical specialist, what do you think they would focus on?
Maybe journals like Planta and Economic Botany or online forums for botanical enthusiasts.
Good ones.
They're building that knowledge base.
Right. And RoleCatcher's Guide emphasizes that staying current is crucial for advancement. It mentions that senior botanical specialists often lead research initiatives and need to be on the cutting edge of the field.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
So a more experienced specialist might say, I'm an active member of the American Botanical Council, and I regularly attend their symposia to learn about the latest research and trends. I also present my own findings at conferences, contributing to the field.
That's a whole other level.
Yeah.
It shows they're not just keeping up, but shaping the field.
Exactly. Now let's tackle, how do you ensure quality control in botanical products?
Oh, yeah, that one.
I imagine this is relevant across all career stages, but the responsibilities might shift.
Yeah, for sure.
So an assistant botanical specialist might focus on following procedures, like, as a production assistant, I followed strict sanitation protocols and learned the importance of documentation for traceability.
Okay, so they're demonstrating attention to detail and a commitment to those established processes.
Right. And RoleCatcher's Guide mentions that quality control is a core responsibility for botanical specialists, regardless of their level.
It makes sense.
So a seasoned specialist, maybe a quality control manager, what do you think they would say?
Maybe. I'm responsible for developing and implementing a quality management system, establishing SOPs, conducting audits, and training team members.
Wow, they're overseeing the entire system.
That's a lot. Okay, what about that problem-solving question? Can you describe a time when you had to troubleshoot a problem with a botanical product? Let's start with someone early in their career.
Okay, so they might share an experience from a lab setting. Something like, I noticed a batch of extracts wasn't yielding the expected concentration. I reviewed the process, double-checked measurements, and found a variation in the temperature settings. Adjusting it fixed the issue, proving the importance of careful monitoring.
It shows a systematic approach, even with limited experience.
For sure. And RoleCatcher's Guide mentions that botanical specialists often work with complex equipment and processes, so troubleshooting is a valuable skill.
Definitely.
A more experienced specialist might have a story involving collaboration, like, we had an issue with our gin's juniper notes. After analysis, I suspected the juniper berries. Working with the sourcing team, we discovered a new supplier had changed varieties. We sourced the original, restoring the gin's flavor.
Ooh, I like that.
Mm-hmm.
They identified the problem, collaborated across teams, and found a solution. Impressive.
Okay.
Okay, on to sustainability. How do you ensure sustainable sourcing of botanical materials? I'm curious how this answer evolves with experience.
Me too.
Yeah.
An assistant botanical specialist might highlight their early exposure to sustainability, like, at a botanical garden, I learned about responsible harvesting, collecting seeds, and cutting sustainably to ensure plant regeneration.
Okay, so that shows an awareness of those practices from the get-go.
Right. And RoleCatcher's Guide emphasizes that sustainable sourcing is becoming increasingly important in the beverage industry, driven by consumer demand.
Oh, for sure.
So a seasoned specialist, perhaps a sustainability lead, might say, I'm responsible for our ethical sourcing program, ensuring suppliers meet our standards for environmental stewardship and fair labor. We prioritize organic and fair trade sources, and we support biodiversity initiatives.
They're leading the charge on sustainability.
I know, it's pretty amazing. Now, for the creativity question. Can you describe a time when you had to develop a new botanical product from scratch? This is where I imagine those with more experience really get to shine.
Yeah, I bet.
So an assistant botanical specialist might share a small-scale win. Something like, while working as a barista, I created botanical-infused syrups. I experimented with herbs, spices, honey, and got great feedback on my lavender honey and rosemary citrus creations.
Oh, it's cute.
Right. It shows initiative and a knack for flavor development. And RoleCatcher's Guide highlights that creativity and innovation are highly valued in this field, especially for those aiming for senior roles.
Okay.
So a seasoned specialist, maybe a head of product development, would share a story about a larger project. I led the development of our award-winning botanical liqueur. After months of research and experimentation, collaborating with the distiller and marketing team, we launched a product capturing our region's botanical heritage.
Wow, they led the whole process. Talk about a dream job for a botanical enthusiast. Let's move on to, how do you ensure the safety of botanical products? This seems crucial at every level.
It is. So a lab technician, perhaps an assistant botanical specialist, might focus on procedures like, I assisted with quality control testing of extracts, learning to identify contaminants, and maintaining a sterile environment to prevent cross-contamination.
So they're demonstrating attention to detail and an understanding of those core safety principles.
You got it. And RoleCatcher's Guide mentions that botanical specialists need a strong grasp of safety regulations, especially those from the FDA.
Oh, of course.
Now, a seasoned professional, perhaps a director of quality assurance, would take a more comprehensive approach. What do you think they would say?
Maybe something like, I'm responsible for our product's safety and compliance. We have a rigorous quality management system, thorough testing of ingredients, and adhere to all relevant regulations to ensure consumer safety.
Yes, they're overseeing safety from start to finish. That's really impressive. On to the next one. How do you ensure the efficacy of botanical products? So not just that they're safe, but that they actually do what they're supposed to do.
Right, the science behind it.
Exactly. So an early career individual might highlight their research skills. What do you think they might say?
Maybe. During my herbal sciences studies, I researched medicinal plants' antioxidant properties, learning to design experiments and analyze data to determine efficacy.
That's perfect. It shows a commitment to scientific rigor even at an early stage. And RoleCatcher's guide mentions that senior botanical specialists sometimes contribute to scientific publications, demonstrating their expertise in this area.
Oh, wow.
So now a chief scientific officer, what do you think they would say?
Maybe. I lead our research and development, ensuring products are backed by scientific evidence. We conduct clinical trials, publish findings, and collaborate with institutions to stay at the forefront of botanical science.
Amazing. They're leading the way in research and development. Okay, finally, let's revisit that teamwork question. Can you describe a time when you had to work with cross-functional teams to develop a botanical product?
Okay.
This one, I imagine, becomes even more crucial as you advance in your career. A research assistant, maybe an assistant botanical specialist, might focus on their role in a larger project. Maybe they'd say, I was part of a team developing new beverages. I helped with sensory evaluations, gathered consumer feedback, and communicated the results to the product development team.
So they're highlighting their contributions and emphasizing the importance of collaboration.
Yes, and RoleCatcher's guide points out that strong leadership and communication skills are essential for senior-level botanical specialists.
For sure.
A seasoned professional, perhaps a project manager, might share a story like this. I led the development of our new skincare line, managing a team of scientists, marketers, and production specialists. We overcame challenges from sourcing to packaging and launched a successful product line on time and within budget.
Wow, they navigated a complex project and achieved fantastic results.
I know, it's pretty inspiring, right?
Very inspiring.
And remember, RoleCatcher's AI tools can help you tailor your responses for maximum impact, no matter your career stage.
Speaking of AI, in Part 3, we'll dive deep into how RoleCatcher's AI CV resume builder and interview practice tool can help you prepare for your botanical specialist interview and land that dream job. All right, deep divers, welcome back. Are you ready to unleash the power of AI for your botanicals specialist interview prep?
I know I am.
We've talked about those amazing AI-powered tools from RoleCatcher, the CV resume builder, and the interview practice tool. Now let's really explore how they work.
Sounds good.
So RoleCatcher is all about personalized preparation, right?
Yeah, their AI really digs into the specifics of your target job role
Wow.
and helps you tailor your application materials and interview responses for maximum impact.
Okay.
It's not just like generic advice. It's more like having a team of experts in your corner.
That's amazing. Okay, that AI CV resume builder, it sounds almost too good to be true. How does it actually work its magic?
Well, it's surprisingly simple. You upload your current resume and then provide a link to the job description you're interested in.
So it's not about creating a one-size-fits-all resume.
Not at all. The AI analyzes both your resume and the job description.
Okay.
It figures out the essential skills and keywords the employer is looking for, and then gives you personalized suggestions on how to optimize your resume.
So it's like having a resume expert who knows exactly what the employer wants.
Only much.
Amazing. But what about those applicant tracking systems, the robots that scan resumes before a human even sees them? How do you get past those?
Well, RoleCatcher's AI takes care of that too. It optimizes your resume for those systems.
Oh, good.
Making sure it gets through the initial screening and lands in front of the hiring manager.
That's a huge relief.
Right.
Okay, let's talk about the AI-powered interview practice tool. I'll admit, interviews make me a bit nervous.
Oh, yeah, me too.
How can this tool help calm those nerves and deliver a stellar performance?
Well, we've all been there. The interview practice tool simulates a real interview.
Okay.
You can choose from common interview questions like those 9 we discussed and record yourself answering them.
That's cool. So it's like a mock interview without having to find someone to play the interviewer.
Exactly. But here's where the AI steps in. It analyzes your video and gives you personalized feedback. It looks at your clarity, body language, even those filler words we all tend to use.
Oh.
I know. It even offers suggestions on how to improve your answers, structure your thoughts, and project confidence.
So using RoleCatcher's AI tools means you're not just prepared, but you're walking into that interview with a level of confidence and polish that sets you apart.
Absolutely.
It's like having a secret weapon in your job search arsenal.
Exactly.
Well, deep divers, we've reached the end of our deep dive into the world of botanical specialists.
It's been fun.
We've explored this fascinating blend of science and artistry that makes this career so unique.
Yeah.
And we've demystified the interview process, giving you insights and practical tips to help you shine.
Right.
We even unlocked the power of AI, showing you how RoleCatcher can take your preparation to the next level.
All this tool.
As you embark on this journey, Remember, you're not just creating beverages, you're crafting experiences.
Ooh, that's good.
Think about how your knowledge and creativity can enhance the aroma, taste, even the visual appeal
Yeah.
to create something truly memorable. Keep exploring, keep experimenting, and keep pushing the boundaries of what's possible in the world of botanicals.
Absolutely. And remember, RoleCatcher is there to support you every step of the way. So dive in, explore their resources, and unlock your full potential. Until next time, deep divers, cheers to your success.